Okay, Frank Bonada here for LowKick MMA. Joining me today is Murdo Todd, as usual, and we're going to be breaking down this weekend's UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Yan. How you doing, Murdo? What do you think of this card?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm excited for the card. I think it'll be a lot competitive, a lot of fun fights in this one. Um, yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited.
Just yeah. Main event, we have Mackenzie Dern, who's taking on Yan Xiaonan. Dern 12-2, coming in as a sort of minus 200, 230 favorite, going against Yan, who Yan on a two-fight losing streak right now, a record of 15-3, and bookies have her priced at a sort of plus 190. I'm seeing on Tapology, around that sort of line. Uh, you said before off camera, you don't have a side in this fight.
No, I'm not confident in anything really. I think Dern's obviously such a good submission threat, but she's not very good in the feet. And I think she can. I think she's able to submit Yan at kind of. I could see it being early. I could see it being late. I definitely could see the extra 2 rounds favoring Dern.
Mm.
Um, but Yan, she's a good striker, but not a huge finisher. So yeah, I'm not confident in overs or unders. I'm really not confident either, to be honest. I think it will be an interesting watch. I'm just not hugely confident. If you have any insights, I don't. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's quite a simple dynamic. If you're going to go for one side or the other, you probably either want to be taking, if you're going on the Yan side, take her probably by decision. I imagine that's her route to victory. Dern side, either inside the distance or just a straight submission prop if you've got it. Um, I've went for Mackenzie Dern inside the distance. Got that line at I think it's about even money, minus 110. Um, you know, I think she can do it over 5 rounds. You know, each round is another round she can potentially submit Yan Xiaonan. Obviously we know her takedowns aren't anything special. That's sort of been the issue of Mackenzie Dern's entire career. But you know, she almost doesn't need takedowns quite often, just like these weird tie-ups and tangles. I just rewatched the Marina Rodriguez fight today, and you know, the second round she's goes for a hip throw, completely fails on it, but in the process gets her legs tangled up with Rodriguez, starts throwing up submissions, and Rodriguez essentially has to come to the ground to avoid being leg blocked. So I just think in those sort of transitions and whatnot, Dern can tie Yan Xiaonan up and start, yeah, getting a submission. I just fancy her chances to do it. Xiaonan showed that her ground game isn't maybe as high level as some other fighters in this division when she took on Carla Esparza. Obviously, Esparza, a great top control wrestler, which you know isn't really Dern's game, but just the fact that you know Xiaonan got so dominated by Esparza in that realm just makes me think that if it does go to the mat, Dern will have the advantage, and you know at least one point she's gonna have a moment where she's gonna lock up a submission, and I think she can finish Xiaonan. Like if you look at Dern's past 2 fights, right? Both actually went to decision, but against Marina Rodriguez, she had like a fully extended armbar at one moment. Fight probably would have been finished if the round hadn't ended. Against Tisha Torres in the second round, she locked up a pretty nasty Kimura that you know it looked like it was in, but fair play to Torres. She's an absolute just unit who can sort of muscle her way out of those situations a little bit. So yeah, I just fancy her over the 5 rounds to have a moment where she can lock something up, and I think yeah, Yan Shannon's sort of lack of ground game will yeah see be submitted.
yeah, I think Yan will find. I think she'll have trouble in a lot of spots. I think Dern will really kind of threat on the ground. You know, as you saying, she's really struggled against Esparza. I know that was wrestling, more of a wrestling approach, but it doesn't bode well, to
Yeah.
be honest. And I think when it does hit the mat, that's the round kind of maybe over for Yan. I think she's got to kind of start fast and maybe try and pick up the earlier rounds.
Mm.
But I agree with your sentiment, and I definitely think that we've seen Dern threaten submissions, and I just think that's why these extra 2 rounds will do her good. She'll have more time to work, more time to tire Yan out. Yeah, I think the inside the distance is a good bet, to be honest. I could see maybe stopping her in the fourth or fifth round.
I also have a very small prop bet. Well, I haven't actually taken it yet, but yeah. Mackenzie Dern, right? Both those last two fights that I just mentioned, Tisha Torres and Marina Rodriguez. Um, in both those fights, it was the second round where she locks up a big submission. Like I said, neither of them finished, but obviously Torres the Kimura and Rodriguez the armbar. So with someone who's got a worse ground game than both these two opponents, I'm going to take a tiny little sprinkle on Mackenzie Dern. Well, right now our bookies doesn't have the
Mission
submission
prop.
prop. Yeah, so we can get Dern at plus 500 in just to win in round two. But I might wait until we get an actual submission prop. To be honest, there probably won't be a huge difference. So I might just take the plus 500, just a tiny like quarter of a unit sprinkle or something.
Yeah.
Just I
No, I like it. I like it.
I feel like it's worth a go. And then yeah, 1 unit on just Dern to win inside the distance. I feel like she's got so many opportunities that she can lock something up at some point.
Definitely.
Let's move on to what I believe is the co-main event: Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. Probably one of my favorite fights on the card. I'm a big Randy Brown fan. Super long, rangy boxer sort of style fighter. Riding a 3-fight winning streak. Having beaten Chaos Williams, Jared Gooden, and Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Yeah, I'm going with Brown on this fight. I just straight up. I've got him in a parlay with the next fight, I believe. I just think he's so much bigger than Trinaldo. Trinaldo is 5'9", Randy Brown 6'3". The reach of there's an 8-inch reach disparity, or is it centimeter? Yeah, a huge reach disparity between the two men.
And the age. Trinaldo
At
is 44 years old now.
44 compared to 32 for Randy Brown. Yeah, there's just too many things going in Randy Brown's way for me to not back him in this. He is a sizable favorite.
minus 300, I think.
Yeah, minus 300. Yeah. Can't remember if I got him anything better than that. No, yeah, minus 300 parlayed with someone else on this card. I don't want to sort of overexpose myself on him by throwing in a bunch of parlays or anything like that. But I feel like it's the logical take. If you wanted to look at props, Randy Brown by decision, I think would probably be a good one. Trinaldo is just, he's made of wood. He's absolutely solid, even though he is 45. So 44. So maybe this is the time that he finally, the wood breaks. But yeah, I think Randy Brown to win. Randy Brown by decision is probably a good bet as well, though I'm not on it.
Yeah, I'm on Randy Brown as well. I just think there's too many things going for him. He's
Yeah.
younger, much bigger. And he uses range well
Yeah.
against people who are bigger than Trinaldo. So I think Trinaldo will have a lot of issues. Trinaldo obviously hits hard, we know that. And even for his age, he's had a pretty decent run of form. But I just think Brown will be too quick from the outside. I just think I've been impressed with Brown recently. I like him. So yeah, I think Brown will comfortably win this, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. That's my sentiment. I suppose maybe the wrestling could be a bit of an equalizer if Trinaldo is able to sort of grind out around on top and maybe land something big in another round. But yeah, you just got to think like accumulative damage from Brown, the range, distance management. I think it'll all just be too much for Trinaldo. So yeah, Randy Brown is the pick. I'm glad we're both on the same side for that one. Next up, a bantamweight scrap. Raoni Barcelos taking on Trevin 5-Star Jones. We have Barcelos as the favorite, coming in minus 250. I've got right now. Trevin Jones at plus 200. What's your take on this one, mate?
I just think Barcelos is kind of overall the better fighter. Has proved himself at a higher level. Yeah, I think Trevin Jones has good power. But I think Barcelos to just be better, can mix it up a bit better. So I've got Barcelos as a parlay piece. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this one. I've not seen anything from Trevin Jones that I've been particularly amazed by. Yeah, what about you? What have you got on this one?
Yeah, no, exactly the same. I just think Barcelos has more to offer than Jones. Jones hits quite hard, and maybe he'll try to catch Barcelos in the sort of pressure-based exchanges that he'll try to enter. But I just think, yeah, Barcelos just has too much. He's too well-rounded. He might be on a two-fight losing streak, but that sort of doesn't give a full reflection of how talented a fighter he is. Unfortunately, he is now sort of 35, so the likelihood of a title run at 135 pounds seems kind of unlikely now. But he is a very talented fighter, and I think he is just simply a better fighter than Trevin Jones. I parlayed Barcelos with Randy Brown. I got Barcelos a bit early at -200 rather than the -250s at now. So those two together come in as an even money parlay. I stuck a unit on. I suppose maybe Barcelos by decision as well might be a decent prop to go for, but just a very solid parlay piece, and I think he'll get it done.
Definitely.
Next up, Sadiq Yusuff, who was scheduled to fight Giga Chikadze at UFC Fight Night, Sanhagen versus Song. Chikadze fell out, and they brought in Don Shainis. I may have butchered his name there, but Don Shameless Shyness. I'm gonna say Shyness.
Sorry, Don.
I'm not familiar with him at all. So it's just a fight I'm gonna stay away from. I imagine Yusuff will win. He's a -1,000 favorite right now. Yeah, he is. I'm not going near it, but do you have a side?
Yeah, I think Yusuff's even slid further than this morning when I checked. He was -900 this morning. Yeah, I expect to get it done. I think maybe, you expect kind of high level guys to be getting rid of these kind of late replacements, debutants inside the distance, but you never know. I think I'm not sure what the inside the distance prop is. If you want to use Yusuff as a kind of, push your odds a little bit, you can't really be mad at that. I expect him to get the job done pretty handily, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Might be worth sticking in a parlay, but -1,000, probably better parlay pieces in the mix. But if you just want to, I might actually have him in a Hail Mary one with like Bo Nickel and a few others from the Contender Series. Yeah, I do. So, but like minimal money on him. But yeah, Yusuff should win. This is a guy that sort of he took Arnold Allen to a decision, even though he lost that fight. Defeated Alex Caceres, defeated Andrew Feely, Shayman Moraes, Gabriel Benitez. He's a good fighter. And if he's ever going to sort of like fulfill the potential that a lot of people have sort of touted him to be able to reach one day, then he has to be winning fights like this. Next up, John Castaneda versus Daniel Santos. I think we're just going to move past this one. Neither of us got any action, and I can't really pick a side either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it'll be entertaining fight, but not a side on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll move past that and go on to Mike Davis versus Vyacheslav Borashev. How's that? This is going to be a fun one. This is definitely like potential for sort of fight of the night on this card. Mike Davis hasn't competed since that clash with Mason Jones 1 year and 8 months ago. Wow, it's been a long time. But he looked amazing in that fight. Jones had come into the UFC as this big prospect from Cage Warriors. And the two men just put on an absolute war. But I think even though I was backing Jones in that fight, I think Davis was the clear winner. Borashev, he came to the UFC off the Contender Series, knocking out your boy Chris Duncan. Obviously Duncan is now in the UFC as well, so that's a very good look for Borashev. He came in, knocked out Dakota Bush with a liver shot, but then was completely out wrestled by Mark Giacchese 5 months ago. We have Davis as a what is it, minus 175 favorite. Yeah, minus 175. Boroshev plus 150. Do you have a side in this fight?
I completely forgot about the Chris Duncan thing, so I do now. I'm gonna take Mike. I'm going to take Mike Davis, because gotta back my own. So yeah, I've got a side now. Yeah, I don't need to watch tape for this one.
I mean, I've just also backed Mike Davis, though I probably for different reasons because I don't have any particular loyalty to Mike Duncan, Chris Duncan. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Chris Duncan. No, I just think Mike Davis, these guys are both strikers, first and foremost. But Davis, he has the reach advantage, slight height advantage. And I think he has the wrestling that he can go to if he needs it. I just think, yeah, Boroshev isn't well rounded enough yet to take on someone like Davis. It probably will be close, but I think Davis has more tools. So I've just taken him straight, and I stuck on a unit and a half on Davis to come out victorious. It's minus 175, so it's not the greatest odds ever, but I do think he's the better fighter. I think it's just everything is in his favor, in my opinion. So yeah, looks like we're both backing Mike Davis to win this one.
Yeah.
The featured prelim of the card, Alexei Oleinik versus Ilir Latifi, two heavyweight veterans. Well, Latifi spent most of his career light heavyweight even.
Middleweight? Did he go middleweight?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I think he did.
His last few fights have been either at heavyweight or light heavyweight, at least though. Yeah, Oleinik is 45 years old now. There's a lot of old guys in this card.
I know.
I mean, Latifi's 39 himself, so but at heavyweight, how much does that sort of matter? Latifi also a minus 175 favorite, similar to Mike Davis. Oleinik coming in as a plus 150 underdog. I'll be straight. I've taken Latifi straight, just a straight bet on his money line at minus 175. I think how much have I got on that? Just one unit on that. I think he has more ways to win. Once again, I think he can knock Oleinik out, who is looking more and more fragile each fight he's in. And I don't think Oleinik is going to be able to submit Latifi. Latifi, I don't know if he's ever been submitted in his entire career. He's very rarely finished. He's got a sort of physique that doesn't lend itself to being submitted. And I think he's going to hit hard enough to just sort of flatten Oleinik inside the distance. But I'm taking his money line, but I feel like an inside the distance play might not be a bad shot either. What's your read in this one?
Yeah, I think I'll be taking the under 2.5. I think it's minus 188. Yeah, I think Oleinik's most of his fights have ended. Most of his fights end inside the distance. And the last time one of his fights was stopped and was in the third round was in 2013. So they usually get done pretty early. Only issue is with that is maybe if Latifi does use his grappling, he's not particularly aggressive. With the Lewis fight, he wasn't particularly aggressive on the ground, and Lewis is nowhere near as good a grappler as Oleinik. But as you say, Oleinik's getting older now. We've seen him get hurt. And yeah, I think Latifi is not a bad one, but I'll be taking the minus 2.5.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think it's a reasonable play. It's not a fight that really has implications of anything, but I mean, this has been it's been rebooked like a good 5 times or something like that now. I swear it was. Yeah, it should be fun enough, I suppose. I do like watching Oleinik get into striking exchanges sometimes because he's got some real herky jerky sort of boxing that can be quite fun to watch. Going by Topology listings, next up is Jessica Penne taking on Tabitha Ricci. Penne comes in at a plus 180 underdog. Ricci currently sitting at minus 220. sort of veteran versus prospect matchup we've got here. 7-1 record for Tabitha Ricci, 14-6 for Jessica Penne. Penne's been in the UFC for a long time now. But she's also, yeah, that comes with her age now. She's 39 years old, whereas Tabitha Ricci, 27 years old. Not a fight I've got a side on, but one I'm interested to see and one I'm interested to hear your thoughts on.
Yeah, I just think Pena's getting on a bit now. She's 39. Ricci's only 27. I think she's the better grappler. I just think she can get it done I think probably over the distance. I just think she'll be able to wear her down, use her wrestling. I'm not particularly impressed with Pena on the feet. She's a capable striker, but I think she really will struggle with the wrestling in this one. And I think Ricci will probably have a better gas tank. Yeah, so I'm pretty confident in this one. Ricci minus 220. Yeah, I'll use it as a parlay piece. So
got it. Yeah, maybe I'll take a stab on Ricci, but yeah, I think the UFC want Ricci to win this fight. Got a big sort of following on social media and whatnot. And you look, the only loss she's got in her career is the KO to Manon Fiorot, and Penny definitely doesn't have that same sort of power. So yeah, I'm probably not going to take action on it, but I will be interested to see how Ricci deals with this sort of developing level of opposition, because the UFC clearly want her to be something big. Nothing on Joaquim Silva versus Jesse Ronson for me. Anything on your side?
I like the fight doesn't go the distance. It's minus 175. Both have a pretty reasonable finishing rate. Ronson's line has moved, I think, quite a bit. It's a lot closer in the odds now. Silva's chin is not great, so yeah, I like this one. Fight doesn't go the distance. I would also maybe even put Ronson inside the distance if you feel like it. That's for me, it's a dog or pass if you're going to bet on either man, to be honest. But yeah, or under 2.5 at minus 138. Yeah,
Ronson inside the distance is plus 250, which is not a bad line.
It's not too bad.
Considering Silva's last two losses, both been KOs to Ricky Glenn and Nasrat Haqparast, two men who aren't exactly known for big KO victories. Yeah, it's not one I've taped or looked into at all, but maybe I will after the show.
Yeah, they've also not been. They're kind of getting a bit older now. They've not been particularly active over the past few years, so I think that doesn't bode well to. I don't know, not getting finished. I just think there might be a bit of ring rust. Someone gets kind of caught cold, caught early. I could see Silva getting caught early.
Silva's only fought once in the last 3 years, and that was the KO to Ricky Glenn. So
yeah, I think I might be taking Ronson inside the distance.
I might, yeah. Minus 250. Sorry, plus 250. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Brendan All-In Allen taking on Krzysztof Jotko. A very sort of close fight, and the odds reflect that. Allen a plus 100 underdog. Jotko minus 125. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Allen on the side on this fight. I think he's got a bit more to him. Krzysztof Jotko has sort of made a name for himself in the UFC by being, I guess, almost like a perennial gatekeeper to the sort of top 20 of the division. He's a consistently solid kickboxer, I think. Doesn't have particular knockout power, but he has decent pressure, decent pace, decent cardio. Is able to sort of like take out a lot of these guys who are on the verges of the very top of the division, sort of thing. I think Allen is good enough to be a top 15 fighter in this division. He's still growing. He's only 26 years old. On a 2-fight win streak right now. Obviously subbed Smiling Sam Alvey and beat Jacob Malkoun, who's a pretty decent scalp to have on your record, to be honest. Obviously, he was sparked by Chris Curtis, and I believe was finished by Sean Strickland as well. Yeah. But Sean Strickland, he is a pressure striker, but He does it with more um
There's more
out
volume than power,
yeah,
isn't it? Do
more
you know what I mean?
output. Yeah. Um I feel like Alan can win this. I feel like it's quite close. The odds reflect that. Alan probably has a grappling advantage. He's quite a good wrestler. Good set of sort of submissions in his arsenal as well. Um, yeah, I'm backing his side. It's not one I'm confident. It's only a half unit. I just think he's the bigger prospect. He's got a bigger ceiling, and 26 years old, going on nearly 27 now. He's got to be entering his prime soon. Um, And yeah, this is another one where it's like, if he's gonna live up to this prospect status that he's got, these are the sort of fights that he needs to win, and I think he can do that. So yeah, Brendan Allen is taking his money line, plus 100, half unit on that. Do you have a read in this one?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I would back an Allen. I will be backing Allen. Sorry. Yeah, I think he's got the grappling advantage. I don't think he blows Jotko out of the water in the grappling.
Yeah,
But I also think it'll be. I think it'll be a very close fight. I think it'll be quite competitive. I don't see Allen going out there and knocking him out early. I think Jotko knows how to survive and is experienced enough. But yeah, I think I always forget how young Allen is.
yeah,
You know, but yeah, I think Allen wins this one. Fresher, younger, and also been so active over the past couple of years.
mm,
I know he's picked up losses against Strickland, but that was like 7 fights ago, 8 fights ago now. The Chris Curtis loss is, I don't know, it doesn't look too great, but Chris Curtis is a very different kind of striker than
yeah.
Jotko. So you can't really, it's not really the same thing, you know. But yeah, I'll be backing Allen at plus 100.
Nice. I did also take over 1.5 rounds, which I think is like minus 300 in a parlay. With the next fight, parlayed with Maxime Grishin and Felipe Lins to go over 1.5 rounds as well. That cap comes in at minus 130, something like that. Maxime Grishin, I mean, I don't have a side in this at all. I don't think it's a particularly high level fight. But Grishin I mean, we talk about Jotko being a slow paced striker. Grishin is incredibly slow paced. He's quite a good striker, but had no desire to finish the fight at any time. Quite durable, but just so plodding. And yeah, I can't imagine this fight getting finished inside the first round and a half. So yeah, over 1.5 Grishin versus Lins, over 1.5 Allen versus Jotko. But I don't have a side or anything like that. Do you?
No, I have no confidence in either of them winning this one. To be honest,
That's
it's one of
good.
those ones. Um, yeah, I over 1.5 is sounds pretty good. But honestly, I can never. It's hard. I always find it when it's like these kind of not like these most highly skilled heavyweight bouts. Like
Mm.
what can happen? I think Lynn's probably has the grappling advantage and probably would be bigger. Spent more time at heavyweight, but yeah, I'm not hugely confident either. They're both also, I think 38 and 39 now, so
38 and
times them.
37. Yeah.
Yeah, they're older now, so yeah, I'm not hugely confident either. But yeah, over 1.5 sounds like a pretty decent parlay piece.
Nothing on Storyolenko versus Chandler for me. Not if I have a redone. No, it's just pass.
Oh wait, yeah, no, she
Storyolenko round one submission. That's
she did
against Rose Clark on
she
it.
oh that was just, I don't know why. Do you know what I look back at that? What a stupid thing to put that. Oh my! I was like, why would I bet on Jessica Clark? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I
But
had as
also, I don't.
well.
Yeah, I think. I don't know how she won it either. All she just spammed armbar. She doesn't know
Yeah,
anything else.
hip throw
Do you know what I mean?
armbar.
That's literally it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be betting on that one. Just no way. No way.
uh, the last fight of the card, opening fight of the night, I think, Randy Costa versus Guido Cannetti. Um, as far as I can see, we haven't got props on ours for this fight yet. Randy Costa, round one KO is probably a line that I will take if it's anything under minus 200. I think he probably sparks Guido Cannetti. Cannetti obviously defeated Chris Moutinho, who for some reason had hype over him because he wasn't instantly KO'd by Sean O'Malley. Moutinho was never a UFC level fighter. And in all honesty, I don't think Cannetti is Guido Cannetti is either anymore. 42 years old. This is a lot of old fighters on this card. Maybe just fade all the old fighters.
Yeah, just put them all in a parlay.
Yeah, genuinely tempted. Costa comes out really aggressive in round one. He gave Adrian Yanez a lot of trouble early on. Tony Kelly fight was a bit of a weird one, where he sort of just got drowned by like clinch exchanges and whatnot, and started gassing. Prior to that, he's knocked out Jenin Yusuff, knocked out Boston Salmon. Boston Salmon's quite a fragile fighter, but yeah, I just think Guido Cannetti is just going to get knocked out in round one. So I will probably take Costa round one. Probably take unders. Yeah, but I would not go anywhere near the Cannetti side. What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely not. I think he's been finished in early in quite a lot of fights. I think round one 4 times in his career, 4 or 5 times. Round two another few times. So yeah, I like that one to be honest. I wouldn't be. Yeah, Randy Costa. What's Randy Costa going in at?
Oh, he's a minus 300, I think.
That's maybe not even a bad parlay piece to be honest.
Yeah, it's just I feel
Um,
like if Cannetti does survive, maybe he can do something when Costa gasses later on. So
yeah,
I feel like it would be a bit risky to like hinge a parlay on. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Randy Costa probably gets to stand inside the distance. I
Yeah,
know.
but
I don't know if you. I don't know what the. We don't have them. We should draft them.
I think DraftKings had inside the distance at like minus 190 for Costa. Round one KO was, I think it was still in the minus numbers, but
Really
yeah.
tells you something.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just such a high pressure fighter in the first round, and is so powerful, and Connetti's 42, so and a bantamweight. So yeah, I just think he blows him out there.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it'll be an entertaining card. I think a lot of them are kind of difficult to put bets on.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
there's definitely some value there. I think for people to take advantage of.
So just to wrap things up, we'll both give a quick recap of what plays we've got in this card. Um, so I've taken Mackenzie Dern to win inside the distance. That's at minus 110, 1 unit on that. I haven't actually taken it, but I will also take Dern to win via submission, or maybe just inside the distance in round two, coming in around plus 500 right now. Randy Brown parlayed with Howney Barcelos. That comes in at even money, 1 unit on that. Mike Davis, 1.5 units on him to defeat Vyacheslav Borashev. That's minus 175. We have 1 unit on Ilir Latifi to defeat Alexei Oleinik. That's also minus 175. Brendan Allen to defeat Christoph Jotko. That is half a unit at plus 100. And in terms of parlays, what have I got? Definitely had one with the this crosses over from Dana White's Contender Series. I have Bo Nickel and Sam Patterson both on there, and then that's paired with Mackenzie Dern and Sadiq Yusuff. And that pays out at what's it like, plus 150 or something. I do also have some Bellator parlays in the mix. Just thrown out there: Aaron Pico, Adrian McKee, Sumiko Inaba, and Lance Gibson Jr. That's even money, so 1 unit on that. And I also took a half unit on Adam Borix to defeat Patrizio Pitbull in that main event. What have you got going, mate?
I don't have any Bellator yet, but
Yeah.
I do have Randy Brown, Yusuff, and I'm taking Barcelos. I was thinking about Ricci in that one, but I think I'm probably more confident with Barcelos to be
Yeah.
honest. But I will be parlaying Ricci with Ilir Latifi, Oleinik. Fight doesn't go the distance. I'll have Allen as a straight play. I'll also be taking Ronson inside the distance at plus 250. I think that's probably got some
Yeah,
value on it.
I like that.
And then fight does not go the distance. Ronson Silva. I'll be parlaying that with Randy Costa, I believe. So that's nothing huge or anything crazy this week.
Yeah.
But it should be an enjoyable card. But I'll be putting some, not too much on it, but yeah, it'd be a good card though.
Yeah, same here. Well, I've had a couple of, I think, two not great back-to-back weeks with the Sanhagen card and then Bellator last week, which me and Ross did. Yeah, so I'm just going for a lot more like safe plays now.
Yeah,
I
was
know.
like, you feel yourself. You win one big one. Yes, anything I put on is definitely cashing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's
man.
just like, yeah, I've struggled the past couple of weeks, but
We had at least I had about 3 or 4. I think it was the UFC Paris, UFC 279. I can't remember if there was another in the mix as well. I feel like there might have been. That were all like, yeah, made like nearly everything cashed. And it's just like, yes, this is going amazing. And then Sandhagen versus Song brought me right back to reality.
yeah, it's that I had. Well, I had Sanhagen by decision. It was just like just last that little bit longer. You know what I mean, I would have been signed. It's just that cut that really caused me issues.
Yeah, fuming.
Oh man,
All
man. But
right
hopefully
then.
for a better week this week.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. Hopefully everything sort of comes together. It's gonna be another break after this week, before the Grasso versus Arujo fight, which I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I swear UFC is it 280? I thought it was going to be like much sooner than it was.
Yeah, it's not till like the latter half of October, but that's gonna be a banger. We'll be back for
Yeah.
that. We'll also have one up for Grasso versus Arujo. I think Nikhil and Ollie, who've been doing the Contender Series stuff, are doing one for Bellator this weekend. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some going for like Cage Warriors Rome, which is coming up. Yeah, we'll make the content's always going to be there. Our interviews are dropping all the time, so drop a subscribe. Let us know in the comments who you're taking in any of these bets, or if you're backing us in any of these. Yeah, follow me and Murdo on Twitter and whatnot. I think it's just like usernames, Murdo Todd and Frank Bernardo. And yeah, tune in. Well, not next week.
280.
Yeah,
280. That'll be a good one. I'll have some major action on that one.
I've already got Charles Oliveira.
Yeah,
plus
sure.
180, Charles Oliveira. Straight on
his
that.
line slid.
Yeah, it's plus 130 now. Yeah, love that.
Oh.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.